So like Batman, there's been various actors that have portrayed Spider-Man. Now of course on the big screen, we've had 3 distinct differences, and each one is very much different than the one that came before. Of course, it all started with Tobey Maguire, and no, before someone comments, I'm not going to talk about the TV version, live action from the 70s and 80s. That's not happening, okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about the live action movies. So we're talking about Tobey Maguire, who gave a very distinct version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the 2002 movie going on forward. Then there was the reboot with Andrew Garfield, which did a more modern, contemporary version. And that one was made for certain different fans of the character, and they were trying to line it up more with the comics. Now we're finally coming down to the 3rd version of Spider-Man, and this is of course going to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe version, which seems to us at least is going to be the most accurate version from a certain point of view. So recently during some interviews, Amy Pascal specifically was asked about Tom Holland's Spider-Man and how he compares to the previous actors and how his version is going to differentiate itself from what has come before. So Amy had this to say: well, I love all my Spider-Men, and they are all different qualities that I think are really special. The thing is that they're all effing awesome actors, and each, whether it was Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield or Tom, they can act like crazy. And I think that's been a really important thing. I think youth was really important. We tried to find somebody who wasn't English, but there you are. We wanted somebody who looked like Peter Parker, and somebody who we have empathy for, and who was trying really hard. Now obviously Tom Holland, when he was auditioning, he did various things. He was on social media, he was posting pictures and videos of himself doing flips, all the Spider-Man-y things, trying to get the actual role. And this is what Amy had to say regarding the audition. I think when we saw Tom, it was unanimous for everybody that he had it, and everything fell into place. There was a, believe me, what we put the poor boy through, hell, and a lot of other boys too, who were also good. But once you saw that thing on film, just everybody knew it. And that's the magic. So obviously there's a lot of stuff in there that she says but essentially Sony had to get this right. If this Spider-Man fails, Sony's film division is dead. This is literally their biggest money maker. They let James Bond just go off, and that was a huge thing because they couldn't afford it. So it's going to be rather interesting to see how they handle this and how much they listen to Marvel going on forward, but seeing as to how they're still developing a Spider-Verse of their own, still remains to be seen if they've actually learned anything. But you kind of get from what they're saying here on how exactly different this Spider-Man is going to be compared to the previous incarnations, which honestly is pretty awesome, the approach they're taking to it and how they made sure they tested everything with them, because this is the future of their film division and one of the biggest stars of the MCU going forward.